When Harry Met Sally, a photography podcast, would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional owners of the lands and waters in which we are recording this podcast on today. As people who work with artists seeking meaning and knowledge through storytelling, we recognise the first peoples of this nation have been doing so for over 60,000 years. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging across Australia. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
And the When Harry Met Sally podcast would be nothing without our fabulous sponsors, would it, Harry?
Absolutely.
So first of all, we'd love to welcome a new sponsor on board for this year, which is the RACV. Thank you so much for being a wonderful sponsor, and we're really excited about having you on for Season 3.
And we'd like to welcome back and thank Nikon Australia, who are always a part of supporting the creative industries in Australia. Ted's Cameras, thank you so much for joining us again. And A&L Artistic Framers, who are just fabulous people to work with.
And last but not least, Col Arts. Thank you for the pod suites. This is our third year in here. We have added ferns and all sorts of wonderful things into the pod suite room this year. And it's without you, we wouldn't have a podcast really, would we?
We certainly wouldn't, and we hope you enjoy the episode.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Everyone get your cups out?
Okay, can I go whenever? Okay. Welcome back to When Harry Met Sally. Hi, Sally.
Hello, how are you, darling?
I'm good. I'm really excited about today as we have the wonderful James Morris in the pod suites.
Oh.
Hi, James. How you doing?
Hi, James. How are you?
Good. I was split to the wide shot there.
I know,
Yeah.
we have to because
Yeah.
of the hair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I feel like
know.
I'm sitting across from two lions
I know.
at the moment.
I have
it's
tamed.
amazing.
I've tamed mine for the
Otherwise you'd
purposes of the YouTube.
Yeah,
but
normally
that's
my
right.
hair's quite big, but I feel very
Yeah.
emasculated
You can't
sitting
compete,
here.
you can't compete.
Welcome. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, no worries.
Now, James is here through Nikon Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've been working with the guys at Nikon on your latest project.
Yes, I have. They've been very lovely.
And I think, let's just get stuck straight into the project. We'll maybe hear a bit about your background as we go along, but this project is amazing.
Yes.
Thank you.
So you have been recreating... Actually, why don't you talk
you
to
tell
it?
us.
It's been hard. Even trying to get an elevator pitch version, I feel
Yeah.
like even trying to get people involved, they're like, I don't quite understand. And on the day, I'm like showing magazines and going, it looks like this, but people are like, we trust when you see it.
Yes.
But the way that I have interpreted it, so it starts, I guess, in 2013, my grandfather passed, and when he passed, he gave me this manuscript, which was essentially 6 chapters of a book or something that he wanted to release, but he kind of gave me no context for it. He just said, here's this.
It was written words.
Yeah. So he'd written everything up, and it was basically about his excerpts from sort of diary entries that he did while he was over in China doing his first big run of orders to the US. So he had...
Okay. So he was a designer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry
And
to...
his name?
Adrian Callil.
Khalil.
Khalil.
As in Khalil Gibran.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So it was originally Khalil, but then
Yeah, so
coming to
that's
Australia.
Lebanese.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's the hair thing.
I know. We were talking about the whole...
Yeah,
I
but
don't
you
look.
said that before and it didn't kind of click. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
really interesting. So Adrian Callil was a fashion designer.
Yeah, so he was a fashion designer, garment manufacturer. So when he came here, he worked with his uncles who had like a garment trade and then learnt on the floor. And then when he was a bit older, he basically just started his own thing.
Wow.
Started off in like boutique women's evening dresses and then spread out in the 80s to tennis wear. And then he did a bit of ski wear.
Wow.
I love
Went
that.
into sport, kind of that
Went into the
sport
sport. I think that's
fashion
just
side
like,
of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
where
this
it
is
went.
just in Melbourne, or did he go Australia-wide? Or
He went Australia-wide, and then he was stocked in the US, and he was stocked in the UK.
I reckon I might have worn one of his tennis dresses once.
See, this is the thing. I've like trying to...
I reckon it was apricot, and I reckon it was 1982.
Wow.
No, you think I'm joking.
No, but I
don't
believe
think I
you.
am.
But this is the thing. Some people go like, I kind of... Because it
Yeah.
was his brand was next to a lot of, so it was called Cherade, and it was next to a lot of brands like Proactin and a lot of those other ones from the sort of 70s, 80s era. But some people kind of like go like, I slightly remember it, but I don't really know enough. So trying to find some of his stuff was the hard part.
Wow.
But essentially this whole project started when he gives me a manuscript. I'm not a writer. I don't really know what to do with it. And because I don't have any other family, I had no context for before or after.
So you're an only child, is that what you
Yeah.
mean? And but you were a photographer when he gave it to you.
No,
Oh,
not at
wow.
all.
Okay,
So
better.
like, wasn't a photographer. I didn't do anything with video. I was studying business at the time.
Wow.
So I
I'm
was like,
Sorry.
yeah,
It's okay. You made
Yeah.
it to the arts.
yeah, got there
The other
eventually.
side.
Yeah. I'm much happier now. But yeah, so I kind of sat with that for ages, and then it was something that had just been in the back of my mind, sort of unfinished, and I didn't really know what to do with it. But part of me was like, I can't write, or I can't finish it. I tried looking at it, but I just didn't know how to put it into anything. So I just like left it, and then only after I did a sort of many years have gone by, and then I finished an exhibition last year, and then through that, Nikon was super lovely, and they're like, do you have anything else you want to do? And I said, I have this thing I've been wanting to do. I don't really know how to encapsulate it. And they were like, go and do it. So then I had to come up with a pitch,
Yeah.
which was then, okay, so I wanted to do a documentary that was me trying to find any of his garments, because I had all these cutouts from newspapers. He was in Vogue, Cosmopolitan, he was in all these different magazines, but I asked around and no one knew anything about it.
But you're close to your grandfather.
Yeah, I was before he passed. But the thing was, I never did any photography
Yeah.
by the time sort of he'd passed. So I
Yeah.
guess for me personally, it was sort of like, if I could have been a fashion photographer, which is a lot of the work I do now, and it had been the same timing, we could have like worked together.
Yeah.
So I guess this is me trying to. I got to this
Work
is the
with
thing.
him.
Yeah, but I got to
Yeah.
reimagine them. So like, I guess the combination was I got to shoot campaigns of his garments, which I would have never been able to do. So it was nice to be able to, I guess have that connection to him, even though he had passed.
So can I ask, the manuscript he gave you, it was a fully written manuscript. It didn't have like images or cutouts or, things that he'd pulled
It's like
out
a diary.
from his...
Like
It's like an ongoing Word doc.
Wow.
Yeah.
An ongoing word
Yeah,
doc.
yeah.
Wow,
And was
amazing.
it funny? Was it
It's
bitchy? Was it like, was there any dirt in there?
It's a
you
little
know?
bit bitchy.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, so he.
What did he say about Prue? No, no, I'm
No, he
joking.
said nothing
Prue,
about
I'm
that.
joking.
No, he was talking more about like, so when he went over to China, there wasn't really a ecosystem for people to go over there and do it. So he went over there, he went into rural China, found a factory, and he worked on the floor with the garment makers
Wow.
to do this massive order for like 14 to 16 hours a day. He had one person that would drive him in and out, and that was the only person who could translate English. So he was on the floor with these people, not really just being able to sort of gesture. And the diary entries are just about all the things that he came across at the time. Like while he was there, his like hotel burnt down. There was one time where they'd gotten all the pattern making done, and then all they needed to do was stitch together the pants and the jackets. And it was, he found one place a few villages over that had a TV that could show the AFL Grand Final.
Oh.
And he'd not had a night off in, God, ages.
That's
so
great.
he went over there, and then when he went over there, somehow they just misconstrued, and they put the jacket material and they made the pants out of it, and then they used the pants material and took the jackets out of
wow.
it. So he went back and he's like, we have to unstitch all of these and do it, because he had this big order. And in Collingwood, where he had his garment trade, there was 7 employees of his. That's why he went over to China, because he's like, I physically don't have the space
Yeah.
or money to do it here.
Yeah.
But he physically had to go over there because there wasn't a pipeline to just send stuff over. He had to like go over there at the time. So I guess like his manuscript was kind of a way of him keeping sane while
Yeah.
not being able to really talk to anyone and do
Wow.
anything, and just his observations.
Did he mention who won the footy that year?
No, he was talking more about the
The atmosphere.
all the stress. Or getting a call and going like, having to go back there.
And so then tell us about the documentary. So where did you got all of the clothes together, and so you found lots of clothes and models
that's the thing.
What's happening?
So the way to and that's why it's kind of a bit convoluted. But the manuscript side, I was like, okay, I have to have something that I can put his words into. So in my mind, I thought he was in Vogue, Cosmo, whatnot, and I wanted to recreate a 70s magazine. So for me, that was where the words could live. All I needed to do was create all the pictures to go along with it. So essentially I was like, all right, well, if I shoot campaigns, because he didn't have the money at the time, because I guess back in those days, the only way you could do marketing was it was word of mouth, or you could, like the photos he had was like someone taking them out the front of someone's house. Like he just didn't have the budget at those days. You couldn't really like afford doing a full campaign and photo shoot and stuff. So for me, it was like the magazine would be made up of those campaign aspects, and then I had to shoot all of the advertising that went along with it, which is very fun because 70s and 80s advertising.
I had to shoot.
I know, that was the thing I was most excited
That
about.
is someone with a vision who really wanted to fine-tune all the details.
It was great because then I could put like all the words in the manuscript were in there. They didn't have to have a thing, and it can just be laid out that way. And then the documentary side is kind of the prelude to that, because I didn't know anything or have any context to his fashion stuff. I literally just had cutouts that he gave me. I had photos, scrapbooks of his, 1979, here's this dress. So I was like, all right, does anybody know or have heard of anything? Because I don't have any of his garments. None of his garments got past to me. I didn't have any of that. And I looked at op shops just like on and off for a while, and I was like, okay, I need to figure this out. So I guess the documentary was going to be just documenting the process of whether I could find any of these garments. And I realized pretty early on that I wasn't going to be able to find enough to do anything with. So half of the documentary is me trying to find garments, and the other half is getting garment manufacturers to remake his clothing, but based off 2D images. So I had one image and I went, cool, here you go. And I knew nothing about garment manufacturing at the start of this. I was like, this should be easy. And then you go and go, oh, it's impossible. It's so hard.
So you didn't have like the drawings or the specs, the actual designs. You just had pictures that you'd found in all these magazines.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he kind of scrapbooked his. I mean, but he scrapbooked like say 5% of his work.
But it's also beautiful for whoever you chose as the garment manufacturers to have the 2D drawings and to put their spin on it. So Callil's work is, or Adrian's work, is sort of having a new life, perhaps.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Which is really gorgeous.
I was pretty like, because if you could look at it from the nicer way of going like, you can have your spin on it, which I think is super important because every time you collaborate with someone, they put their spin on it. But at the same time, I think it would have been impossible to go like, no, you must do it exact if they can't even see the back of the garment. They're like, we have to take guesses here.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun. And, like going around and them going like, I think based on how it falls, it would be this fabric, but some of the fabrics like wouldn't exist nowadays, or they don't make it.
So did they come on board as a partnership with you? Were they friends that you knew, or you just knocked on doors, or?
It's just like, hi, do you?
Can you use a needle and thread?
Yeah. So sewing. So there were.
If it was my door, you would have been shutting the face sewing.
No, I won't buy that. It was friends of friends. So I initially started by speaking to vintage collectors, and I guess those are the people that I knew anyways from doing more fashion work. And I just started there, and I was like, who knows who knows who? And every time I met someone, they knew 3 other people. So it just sort of expanded in that way.
Because the reason I asked that was that Harry and I talk a lot about networking all the time,
Yes.
And because you haven't had a traditional entry into photography from the sound of it, it's great to know where your sources come from, because anybody that's listening to this, might be going, well, gosh, there's something in my life that I'd love to be able to do. And if you've got the heart and the hunger and the want, and then the network, bang, all of a sudden it starts happening and people go, oh, my God, you're going to go and check this guy out because he's doing this. And
True. I guess it was one of those things that when I pitched it, it was all an idea. And then Nikon were like, love it, go ahead. And I was like, now I need to actually do it. And that was the thing I was like.
All been there.
Yeah, you just start it.
So how wonderful of Nikon to take that up.
Yeah,
No,
I
it
was
was
just
really
about to
lovely.
say, can we talk about like how, you said you had an exhibition that then Nikon said, okay, what do you want to do next? So were you working with them on the exhibition last year?
No, not at all. It was I did an exhibition which was all like reactionary work to a painter, and then through that I met some of the vintage collectors that then ended up helping me find garments through this one. And I met one of the representatives from Nikon who I worked with quite closely on this.
Julie?
Yeah.
We love Julie.
Legend.
We loved her.
Amazing
Yeah.
woman.
So-
And a beautiful painter as well.
I know, but I didn't know that till later. And I was like, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love her work.
Yeah, no.
So
she's amazing.
she saw your work and was like, this is amazing and connected with you?
Well, she actually saw me initially doing video work because I sort of do hybrid, and I was doing a music video at one of the vintage collectors' houses who we have, that's our mutual friend. And I was doing a music video for someone, but I was doing it all myself because I didn't learn in a way of going like, hop on set, here's your role, you do camera, you do lighting or anything like that. I just sort of had to figure everything out on the fly. So this is, a lot longer down the track. So now I kind of can do all of those things.
Yeah.
So it was because Julie had seen that music video and went, okay, I know the place. And they're like, who was it that shot this? And then kind of went along and it was just me.
She's got such a vision for exciting things and exciting people and what they're doing. Like she can really hone in on, those opportunities to, So amazing. How did that conversation? So she obviously approached you and said you're amazing, and then how did that? Did she say we want you to use the new cameras on the next project, or was that something that came up after many conversations?
Many conversations.
Yeah.
It was like it was a long process, and I really had to sort of pitch an idea. I guess it was Julie said love this, and was kind of like let's just keep tabs.
It's not like,
exactly. It's not like
you had to kind of pitch as well.
Oh, totally. I had to pitch the idea, but it's also because there were so many points to this entire exhibition, and to figure it out, actually putting it to words was the hardest part, to try and put it in elevator pitch format. Because even sometimes explaining it to people, it's a lot of things to go like, it's a documentary, then there's a magazine that goes with it, so it's like photo and it's video. And Nikon at that point, they were like, we love this. So we ended up talking, and they, lent me a few of their other cameras just to see if, I guess, the relationship would work, if I liked the Nikon stuff, which I did, which was awesome. And then I think I went out and just started shooting heaps, and they were like, okay, cool, you can stop now. And then I said, I have this idea, and I pitched them Ragtrader, which was the project that I'm doing at the moment. And they were like, okay, hold off for 2 seconds and just wait because we have a new camera coming out.
And what was that camera that they ended up giving you?
The ZR, which was awesome because I'd primarily been using their stills camera, but the ZR was something that was really big because being able to have something handheld, it was essentially Nikon had bought Red. And it was the first time we were going to see that collaboration come out. So we were very excited. Yeah. Because having something consumer grade that was a Red camera, which when I was coming into the sphere, they were like, cool, you can either do a house deposit or you can buy a Red camera. And it still to some degree is the case. But
And can you just explain for people that might be listening what a Red camera is?
Well, it's just one of the cinema cameras that's out there, and it's I guess there's a few, you've got ARRI and you've got a few of those other massive ones, but in my mind, it's very much like you have, I guess, the new wave of creators who do stuff by themselves, and it's usually more like the mirrorless, sort of the consumer grade stuff, and then you have the cinematographers, and it feels like as technology's been getting better, there's just been this hybrid world where you can achieve really good things and not have to have 50, crew members and all these other things. So Red is one of those companies where like they've always done more, motion picture, major film sort of stuff, just very, very high quality. And you're like, okay, as a solo shooter or a small team, you're just never really going to get the budget to go like, can we rent this camera? And you're like, probably not.
Yep.
So how long has this answer blew my mind when we had our pre-conversation, but how long has this whole project taken you to photograph and film and everything?
So
do we get an A, B or a C?
Okay.
A, 1 month. B, no, go.
It's so they approved it December last year, and it's taken me 3 months, so January, February, March.
I thought you were going to say 3 years when we first had this conversation. Like, that is amazing.
Well, it was this weird thing because I guess like it was a self-imposed timeline. But the main thing was everyone was free in January and February.
Yes.
Everyone was like, I'm free to do this thing, but by this time I won't be. And I was like, because, like...
Strike.
I was like, gotta strike while the iron's hot. So everyone was free. So I was like, okay, if I just kind of do it. And I didn't really think about it because there wasn't really any time to think.
Great.
But,
wow.
Yeah.
My kind of guy.
Yeah.
I love that.
And
just
so,
do it.
Just get it done.
Yeah.
And so tell us a bit about the timelines with regards to, like, the output. So obviously you've got the magazine, there's an exhibition, and there's a documentary.
Yeah.
So is there going to be a massive launch where it all comes out together, or is there going to be a documentary showing and then an exhibition later, or what's the vision?
Rollout? Well,
Yeah.
okay, so the idea was I would have a recreation of 1970s January Vogue, and that's kind of where I would put everything in, but I would shoot everything. So I would shoot everything, and I shot some of the ads with some of my granddad's old like watches that he used to have, and then the whole magazine would be sort of bookmarked. Yeah, so I used a bunch of his other stuff, like his old video cameras and bits and pieces, like whatever he had. I was like, because he left me just sort of like an assortment of things, and I was like, look, I'm going to try and do as many ads with his stuff, and then sort of do classic, Versace and like old ads that I really liked to, when you get the opportunity to sort of do them in a way that you can actually have them in a magazine. So the idea was to have this physical magazine that can kind of have campaigns throughout them of his garments, and then a documentary that sort of, I have interviewed a bunch of people to just kind of get because I'm never really going to be able to speak to him about it. The idea was I wanted to learn as much about the scene that he was in. I knew nothing about what the rag trade was. I'd only seen that word because he had named the manuscript A Ragtrader's Diary, and I didn't really even know what that was until I started speaking to people.
When you mentioned Ragtrader before, I wrote it down. I'm like, what a great name. I hadn't heard that before. Yeah.
Oh, really?
You heard that term?
Well, I'm not really.
I'm a little bit older than you. And when I first started assisting in photography, Flinders Lane was known as the rag trade. That was where all of them were down there, and the photographer that I assisted was one of the photographers that shot a lot of the rag trade.
There you go.
Yeah, Rick Wallace.
He had one down there as well. Like he had a little shop there because
and that's
of the
where they
hustle
all
bustle.
were. And it was the rag trade. That's what it was.
Love
Exactly.
that.
But I mean, even in speaking to people who were there who operated out of that, because one of the people I interviewed for the documentary was Jenny Bannister.
Jen. Yep.
And like their insight is incredible. Like
Yes.
there's so much that I've been trying to keep as much of it as possible. But like even just hearing that they
She'd
all
have great stories.
Oh, so many.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to have documentary
like
and then
a
just
queen.
like excerpts. Yeah, because I was listening to this, I'm like, you need to do a book. And she's like, I'm like, you need to. Like, I was like, I could keep going because I think we did like a 2-hour interview, and I was like, I have to somehow cut this into like, ideally like a 20, 30 minute documentary overall. But I ended up interviewing a bunch of people so that I could get sort of a mood board as to what it was like in the rag trade. What is it like from then versus now? Because I guess we have such a huge resurgence in vintage collection and thrifting culture, and what does that look like now with even, say, the old tailors, all these people that we had that were really, really top of their game, but no one's really learning from them to do bespoke, say, like Italian suits, or how you do, I guess, all these skills that are going to be dying out. And
Do you know who we have to introduce you to? Julie Goodwin, couture, who is a friend of ours. She's on the podcast
This season, yeah.
This season, she also lectures at Collarts. But Julie is part of Fash Lab. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that later. People that want to listen to Julie's episode will hear all about that. But I think you two should definitely meet. Connecting.
this is networking in real time.
Real-time
Yeah,
networking.
so remind me and I'll put you together. She'd love that.
Thank you. Yeah. And I think that's been the really nice thing about this project is that like every time I meet someone, they go, oh, I've got someone that you could meet. And you kind of go, oh, okay. And you just sort of like go in blind. So everyone even that I interviewed was from people, because I didn't know anything about, I didn't have any connections in regards to this side of fashion. I knew nothing about the rag trade. So it was just asking people who asked people who like...
And where did you find your models from?
Well, they're from all over Australia. Some of them were friends. Some of them I'd worked with for my previous exhibition. And then just there's a lot of modelling agencies that I've worked or,
So were you
with
trying to
over the years.
find, models that looked 70s or 80s? Or did you work with great makeup artists that did that?
Yeah.
Or
I think it was more the makeup artist thing. I think as much as I wanted to honour that time period, a lot of it was like I didn't want to have to limit it to the constraints of that time period with some of the things. Because otherwise, if we were going like Twiggy era, it's very much like here is the specific kind of person you need. And I guess I didn't want to necessarily stick to that because I can give it the modern twist and I don't have to stick to that. So it was more I wanted to get correct. I mean, like, you say 80s, but like one of the dresses I got remade of his, it's like huge shoulder pads. I'm like, I don't really need to do much else. Like the shoulder pads, I think, give it the 80s thing regardless.
maybe you could have used me. I mean, for God's sake.
Where were you?
I don't know. Where was I? Next
There you
one.
go. Yeah.
I rock a shoulder pad.
Yeah.
So the two projects you've talked about, this one we're talking about mainly, but the previous one as well, there is a theme of interpreting work that's already out there. So the artwork you just talked about interpreting paintings in your previous exhibition, and now obviously your grandfather's kind of archive. Is that something that you're intentionally kind of interested in, that kind of reinterpreting things that are already kind of in existence?
I don't think I thought about it until just now.
I know.
Before I psychoanalyzed, I'm like,
I know. I could
maybe
see
it's a
why.
thing. Yeah, I was like, oh.
I was going,
What is?
Your brain was like going, Harriet, what are you doing to me? But also, what a fucking great question.
That's a pretty great question. That's why I'm like, I want to give it the time of day.
Yeah. Question of the season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Do you guys get one of those?
Yeah, no, yeah.
You get to call one out.
That's it. I haven't had one yet, but go. What's the
Anyway,
answer?
well, yeah, that doesn't have to be an answer. It's just an interesting observation.
No, I mean, the thing that comes to mind first is more about, I don't know about the two of you, but long form projects, I think, are harder to do and keep yourself focused on. So I guess the Ragtrader one that I've just done, that was something that I knew was more close to my heart and something that I wanted to do, to just kind of go like, I've honored his work, because I guess to some degree he just wanted his legacy to live on, and that's kind of what that is for me. And then the other one, I think it was, when you have a lot to work with over a long form thing, it can keep you excited, when you're doing it for so long. And I think at the time for my previous exhibition, it was like I was doing reaction work to very hyper color, big abstract stuff. And it was just sort of interesting because through that, there are a lot of photography techniques, so I could keep learning.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like, what can keep you, I don't know, I imagine doing like a 5-year, 6-year project, whether it's like a photojournalism, like that's hard to keep going back to, and keep, because you have to get your brain into it a lot, which is maybe why I wanted to do all these in such tight time periods, because I don't know if I can put something down and then kind of like get my brain
come back
into
to it and get back in the zone and then leave it.
What do you think? Do you find that's hard to do?
Oh, so I guess my personal practice is very long term. Long term. So I have projects that go on for years and years, and actually who knows when the ending will be. But having said that, I am working on a little project that there was a very limited shoot time. There were 2 visits to a place, and I only had 2 weeks in each visit, and that's it. The place is my old home in Sydney, and it's been sold, and
So
a family home. So that actually has a limitation, and there's no more pictures that can be made. And although the process is still long and I'm taking a while to even look at the pictures, it feels a lot more like I have a direction with it. Because it's the shooting's done and I kind of know where I'm going with it. Whereas I've got another project that's just meandering, and it's like, where am I going?
And I think everyone works differently. And it's like, I think if you're doing that in your art, it tends to be how you perhaps work with your life as well. Whereas I'm a bit more, I think about it, and I swim and I walk and I think about it, and then I go, right, bang, bang, and then I do it.
Yeah, I think I'm more like that.
And then I'm ready for the next thing, because there's so many ideas going on in my brain. It's terrifying.
Do you
so
find
I've got
that you
to
get
get them out.
Like if you an idea passes, do you feel like you then?
If it passes, it wasn't meant to be.
Oh.
Yeah, but I have, like Harry's now, I feel a bit weird because I don't have anything to write on because it all happened quickly this morning. But I write everything down. I just write. And, I've written a couple of books, and that's how I did them. And I just thought about them and what images were doing. Oh, no, and then I just go bang, and then it just happens. I don't like to start something and then draw it out.
Yeah.
I think I'm just too...
I don't think I can.
No.
Actually, I know that I feel like I know myself enough to go, because I have so much respect for people that can hone something over a long time period and maybe not be able to put an ending point to it. Like, it's so... I think that's way harder in my
But equally, they might have that respect for you too.
Yeah,
like we work with so many different people in here, and in our first season we had Samantha Everton, who she does beautiful work that one image can take a year to pull together. Oh
well, her process takes about 5 years. She does one shoot, and it takes about 5 years with the pre-preparation, and then the shoot itself, and then the post-preparation, and then the getting it out there.
It's
but it's a whole that whole kind of, like, I suppose, business of that artwork. It takes about a 5-year turnaround, which is, and she goes, she famously kind of says, I make 12 pictures in 5 years, because she used to shoot on film, and so she would shoot, a couple of rolls. So,
and life around it as well.
Exactly.
But isn't it amazing how everyone's practices are just so different, and we all work in different ways?
Absolutely.
And I love celebrating that. That's, we should lean into that.
Totally. I mean, there isn't a right or wrong way, because I guess there isn't like a linear path to get into photography or any of those things. So you can kind of get in any way and do it in any way that works for you. But I think when you start out, you always think like, it looks like this to me, so therefore I have to do this, otherwise I'm not a legitimate such and such.
And I think for our listeners, it's also quite an interesting journey for you, studying business.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
But then you picked up a camera, you're not formally trained?
No, I mean, I
formally trained.
I've been
what am I like?
trained, yeah, I know, like-
oh, sorry. Can we just cut that? That sounded really wanky. But
I was
go. But
I was going
you know
to
what
say
I'm trying to say.
Similar thing. Like, how has that business training helped your photography practice, do you think?
Not at all. No. I'm sure it did.
But you were going to be like, oh my God, I got all these skills.
I'm so together now.
I know how to market myself. I know my profit and losses.
Oh my gosh. No, I feel like there's two brains. I think they're two different things. I feel like maybe the only thing I learnt from it was more what I did straight. So I did a business course, and then outside of that, because it was in music I was working in, so I started a social enterprise that was doing sort of live session and interview stuff for artists. So it wasn't like anything that was charged to them. And at the time when I started it, there just wasn't a lot out there. And because
so you're also a concert pianist or something? Is that what you're going to tell us?
No. Just very much like I was doing music in just sort of like a local band in the sphere that a lot of people were. But I found that when I went into that scene, there was just a lot of amazing talent in Melbourne, because at the time that huge thing came out, and it was like most musicians in the world are in Melbourne. I think in Brunswick it was like more musicians per, like, don't quote me on that, but it was like per meterage we had more musicians in a condensed time than a condensed space than anywhere else in the world. So I was like, okay, we have this, but then the media outlets at the time, we just didn't have a lot that catered to local musicians. It was like very much internationally focused. And not to say there wasn't there, I just think there was room for more, because we had more artists than we had platforms. So I went and did that for like 6-7 years. And I think that's how I kind of utilized the business side.
Yeah.
But that's because I thought that's what I had to do. But then through that, I was doing interviews and live session stuff, and I was like, cool. Had this idea, didn't know anything about it, and I was like, I don't know anything about filming or photo or video. I was like, I'll just figure it out. So what I did was just got people from universities, and I was like, can you come and do the thing? And it was really good, but I think when it started to pick up, it was like, cool, we want to do 3 days a week. We want to do, it's like 3, 12 to 14. It was too much. But like at the time, I was like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, 3 12-hour days?
We know that.
We know a bit of that.
Yeah, but you can only ask so much of people to volunteer their time. So I was like, I just need to learn through my mitosis. So I was just watching them and trying to figure stuff out.
Through my what?
Mitosis? Just like being
close.
close.
I thought you said my toaster. And I'm thinking, what?
Through my toaster.
My
I learned
toaster.
a lot about life.
Mitosis. Yeah, so you learnt by watching.
Yes, by being like around it and asking silly questions.
And do you ever get the urge to maybe go and study anything now?
I went back and studied.
Oh, you did? Great.
I did,
That's where I'm going.
So like
Good.
this was probably over 10 years ago now. 13 years ago. And I did that for a while, and then through that I sort of made every mistake imaginable when it comes to cameras, just stuff I didn't know. So you learn, you learn the things, and then from there I was doing a lot of video work, and I started doing documentary filmmaking for a few years, and photo was something that I always had on the side. But over like time, I did a lot of video work, and I think I hit a cap on what I was able to do at the time, but also what I was interested in doing, and I started to do photography sort of on the side, and then there was just a massive switch where I was like, I love this, I could do this every day, and I don't. My body doesn't feel sore. I don't hate it. It's like, I think there was, what I felt was that there's a financial barrier to getting a certain quality of image when it comes to video. Because, as you go up, you're like, okay, well, I need to stabilize this. It's like, do I use, every time you're going up with technology, it's just like hundreds of thousands of dollars more. But with photography, you can get magazine level with something handheld. And that to me was really appealing because I had always worked as a solo operator.
Yeah.
Not for any other reason than I was just like, didn't come through a regular channel. I just sort of figured it out. Like I think the first time I was trying to figure out lighting, I used Bunnings lights into cardboard that had aluminium foil on it.
Been there, baby.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
we all do.
Desk lamps.
Exactly.
But it's interesting how you said that now. But then with these cameras that you've been using, there's actually that shift is changing a little bit more now.
Yeah, it's coming back. So the ZR was amazing. I think because of that, the video roots that I'd started with, if I had someone said like back in the day when I was doing that sort of live session stuff to have a red camera, it would have been like, no way, there's no possible way you could have that. And now to be able to do that, and I think because I'd done documentary filmmaking for a few years, that doing a documentary didn't feel too scary to do.
Yeah.
But what I remember from doing those documentaries was like, my back hurt because it's like you're shoulder rigging this big thing and then you're kind of going like, okay, it needs to be stabilized. And then I also need to do audio and you have these things and you basically end up like this.
Yeah,
you know, those people that have like the drums and cymbals on themselves. You feel like a full like marching band thing. So that's why the ZR was amazing to have because you had this camera that is literally back to smaller than my stills camera now. And it can literally get you the same codec as a red camera, which is like the color science. It feels like less digital because it has that cinema aspect to it. But then also in the ZR, you've got stabilization. The autofocus is amazing. Like it's just sort of everything I would have loved back in the day. But it meant I could do all these documentaries on the fly without having to worry about, you know, setting up the perfect things. And
sounds like we need one in here for next year.
I know.
You should.
Julie.
Well, we're actually almost at the end of our session, so I'm going to just ask a couple of questions to wrap up, and you please cut me off, Sally, if you...
Oh, I will.
But I just wanted to... I asked you a bit earlier, but we sort of pivoted.
Yeah, as you
Can
do.
we talk about the output and your...
Sorry, yes.
No, that's okay, because we like a pivot. But, yeah, as we're getting to the end of the episode, can you just let us know, where can we see it all the different things and what's happening?
okay, so 5th of May is the exhibition launch.
Yeah.
There's going to be a screening at Penny Lane Cinema in Moonee Ponds.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so we've got the actual documentary screening there, so then we can actually watch it, I mean, in its entirety. So it's going to be like a 20 to 30 minute documentary that sort of, I'm interviewing a bunch of people, and then through that they're giving me sort of the idea of the Ragtrader, what it was, and whether I ended up only being able to find 2 of his actual garments, and through not lack of trying, but I ended up getting 12 of his garments remade. So kind of that journey is the entire documentary.
Yeah.
After that, we then at Holmes Hall in Moonee Ponds, which is like a couple hundred meters down the road, that's where the actual exhibition itself will be.
Yeah.
So we're going to have zines that are there on the night, which is the magazine aspect that I'm talking about, as well as we'll have some of the prints. We'll have the garments that were recreated just on display so you can actually see. And the garment manufacturers and everyone who was involved will be there, so you can kind of pick their brain about it.
What night of the week is the 5th of May?
Tuesday.
Okay.
Great.
And our invitations
They're in the mail.
Yeah, great.
Coming through.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah, we will be there.
I want to do a verbal invite.
And can
so you're formally
people-
invited.
Thank you.
Can people book tickets to come and see that, or is it invite only for that opening?
So the exhibition itself at Holmes Hall, all are welcome. Like, just come down. There'll be sort of, drinks. Nikon has the ZR cameras there, so you can have a play with them because they're like, go have a look at all the bits.
So
But,
cool.
Yeah, you have you can see that. There'll be all the campaigns of that I did of his garments, so that's all there. And the documentary will sort of be on loop. But the actual screening of the documentary will be ticketed, but it's just down the road. And then we're going to we have something in mind of how we're going to sort of do the documentary thing, have a Q&A in the venue, and then move it from one venue to the other, which we've got an idea of what we want to do, but just logistically trying to figure out how we do that. But
Exciting.
The human bus.
yeah.
I'll be the bus driver. That sounds so, and I love that it's in Moonee Ponds, the home of fashion of Dame Edna Everage, So,
Oh my God, I didn't even know that.
God,
What?
really? Are you kidding me? Dame Edna
I learned
Everage
so much, but I still didn't know that much when I started.
was from Moonee Ponds,
Oh my
and she was
gosh.
the fashionista.
Oh my God, I know very much about her, but I did not know it was Moonee Ponds. That's even better. What a win.
Yeah, that is so fantastic.
Yeah,
Oh,
so we'll be there.
well, that's wonderful. And James, when we're promoting this episode, are we able to have a few snippets for us to put onto our social media so people can see?
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be great.
I can give you some excerpts of the campaigns, and then because there's so many ads and article backers I had to do to make the magazine possible, there's a bunch of other things that I shot that are really outside of the realm, like weird. Ads in the 70s and 80s were very strange. if you look at a lot of the old ones. Like, just like there's like big hair and there's just stuff we don't do now. No, no bigger, like very big. So it was really fun to work with.
I'm just going to take you right back now.
Oh my God, there you go.
To the
hairspray. Oh, there you
know
go.
that? There you
Yeah,
go.
here's one.
Big hair, for God's sake. Yeah. But also really inappropriate, so many of them. I'm following this thing on Instagram at the moment. Did this ad really go to air?
Yeah.
And it was all from the 70s and 80s. It was a brilliant time
No,
to be
because I even
around.
saw one that there was like, it was just when I was, because I looked through so much, like I basically bought a bunch of old magazines, tried to track them down, then I rescanned them all in so I could actually utilize them as templates to recreate this.
Yeah.
But I remember there was one that was like a suit advertisement and it was like a guy smiling, but he had pretzeled himself inside a suit jacket and it says like, it's like, suits should be flexible for whatever you do. And I was like, I don't quite understand what it was, but it's just stuff like that. And
James, thank you so much for coming
thank
in.
you for having me.
I can't think of a better collaboration than you
Yes.
with Nikon. You're so enthusiastic and you have these great ideas, and so's Julie and everyone at Nikon. And I just, it sounds like a perfect match.
When we were talking to Nikon at the beginning of the year, just sort of saying now, what are we going to do for our advertorial? And James Morris, straight away.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
been
been
wonderful
something.
having you in here today.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
We'll
so much.
see you at your launch.
Yes.
And I'm
because
sure
we'll
you'll
be there with bells on.
Yeah.
Please, you can bring all your
And
shoulder
Dame Edna
pads.
glasses, darling. They'll wear them.
Please.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure your grandpa would be so proud of you. I think that's just a
proud.
really beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like his story was one of thousands of people's parents.
Do you have a picture of him?
I do. I didn't bring. I mean.
Oh, no, but
you know
just
what?
for the
I
day?
do. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got all these like old photos that I've had to culminate. So this
Yeah.
magazine will kind of tell you everything you need to know
Great.
about him that I've sort of found.
Terrific.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah, thank you for having me.
congratulations. Can't wait to see the output.
Oh, thank you.
And thanks again, Nikon.
Yeah, thank you,
And
Nikon, for
Yeah.
supporting James, for supporting artists, for supporting creatives,
And supporting us.
and supporting us.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
All right.
I wouldn't have been able to do any of that without Nikon.
Fantastic.
So thank you.
Brilliant.
All right.
Okay, Dylan. See you later.
See you next
Bye, James.
time.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
We just want to thank all our fabulous crew that are working with us on season 3 of When Harry Met Sally. Shaquille Raymond, back for season 3. Couldn't do this without you.
God love him. I'm glad he keeps coming back. Ezra Williams, who's just started with us this year, who is working with us on filming, videoing, social media and all other things fabulous. And a huge thank you to Ash Wilson, who will be working alongside Ezra, editing all of the videos for YouTube. Thanks, Ash.
And Martin Stevens, Sally's wonderful husband, and also music extraordinaire, who's done our intros and outros for 3 seasons now. Thank you so much, Martin.
Yay, Martin. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube, Ash Peters, we'd like to say thank you for supplying the artwork to put in the pod suite. It's made a huge difference. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for listening. See you next week.
Bye.